What's up everyone? Subscribe to my channel because today we're diving into something truly special, the kind of car that doesn't just exist as a machine, but as a piece of automotive history, a living legend that shaped generations of sports cars. We're talking about the 1973 Porsche 911 Carrera RS 2.7 Touring, a car that even after 50 years remains one of the most iconic and sought after Porsches ever created. This isn't just another classic car. It's the car that redefined what a 911 could be, and its story is as much about racing as it is about engineering genius. When Porsche revealed the Carrera RS 2.7, it wasn't just a new model, it was their answer to the rules of motorsport at the time. To compete in Group 4 racing, Porsche needed to build at least 500 road-going examples of the car. What they created was far beyond a homologation special. It became the holy grail of air-cooled Porsche collecting. And while Porsche originally thought they might struggle to sell 500, the car proved so popular they ended up making more than 500 units. The RS wasn't just successful on the racetrack, it was a sensation on the road. The first thing you notice when you see a Carrera RS 2.7 is that shape. The classic long hood 911 silhouette, but sharper, more aggressive, more purposeful. The front end is subtle, but it's the rear where things get interesting. This was the first production car to wear a rear spoiler, what enthusiasts now call the ducktail. At the time, aerodynamics weren't something most road cars focused on, but Porsche knew that at high speeds, the 911's rear end could get light, unstable, and twitchy. That ducktail wasn't just a styling choice, it provided real downforce and reduced lift at the back while also improving airflow to the engine. The result? Stability, confidence, and higher top speeds. Speaking of the engine, under that ducktail sat one of Porsche's most legendary power plants. A 2.7-liter flat-6 air-cooled, producing 210 horsepower. Now, on paper, that might not sound like a lot compared to modern supercars, but remember, this car weighed just about 175 kilograms in touring trim. Lightweight body panels, thinner steel, and even thinner glass in some versions meant this thing was a rocket in its era. 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds back in 1973. That was supercar territory, and this was a car you could drive to the grocery store if you wanted to. The RS 2.7 wasn't just about raw performance either, it was about balance. Porsche engineers worked obsessively on weight distribution, suspension tuning, and braking performance. The wider rear track, flared wheel arches, and Fuchs alloy wheels weren't there just to look good. They improved grip and handling. The RS felt alive in your hands, telepathic in the way it responded to steering inputs. You didn't drive it so much as you became part of it, which is exactly why enthusiasts to this day call it one of the greatest drivers cars ever made. Now, let's talk about the touring specification. Porsche offered the RS 2.7 in two main versions, lightweight and touring. The lightweight stripped everything out, no rear seats, no sound insulation, bare bones and raw, designed for the track. The touring, however, gave you the performance of the RS, but with a touch of civility. It kept more of the interior trim, sound deadening, and comfort features, making it a car you could actually live with on the road. That's why the touring became so popular. It was still blisteringly fast, still razor sharp, but it didn't punish you every time you wanted to take it on a long drive. Step inside and you'll see the simplicity Porsche was known for in the early 70s. Classic 5-gauge layout, thin-rimmed steering wheel, supportive bucket seats, and not much else to distract you from driving. The touring version included a bit more upholstery, carpets, and door panels, but it remained true to the philosophy of less is more. No massive screens, no complicated electronics, just pure analog driving bliss. What makes the 1973 Carrera RS 2.7 so legendary isn't just its specs, though. It's the way it feels. Owners and drivers describe it as an extension of themselves. The sound of that flat 6 screaming behind you, the way the car comes alive in corners, the feedback through every part of the chassis. It's a driving experience that modern cars, no matter how fast, struggle to replicate. And of course, there's the rarity and value. Over the past few decades, the Carrera RS 2.7 has skyrocketed in desirability. Collectors hunt for them, and when one comes up at auction, it's a headline event. Prices have soared well into the 7-figure range, depending on condition, originality, and specification. The touring models often command a premium because they're usable while still being incredibly special. For many Porsche enthusiasts, this is the dream car, the one they'd pick above all others if they could have just a single 911. But beyond the money, beyond the hype, the RS 2.7 is a symbol of what Porsche stands for. It was born from motorsport, engineered with precision, and built to deliver joy behind the wheel. It represents the bridge between Porsche's racing success in the 1970s and the cars that would follow, the turbos, the GT cars, the RS models we see today. Without the Carrera RS 2.7, the DNA of modern Porsches would look very different. Imagine being in 1973, walking into a Porsche dealership and seeing one of these on the floor. Bright colors like Viper green, tangerine, or light yellow with Carrera script running down the side. The ducktail standing proud, the stance wider, lower, ready for action. This wasn't just another sports car. This was a statement. If you bought one, you weren't just getting transportation, you were buying into a legend. Even today, when you see one on the road, it stops you in your tracks. The shape is timeless, the aura undeniable. Enthusiasts gather around, cameras come out, and everyone knows they're in the presence of something special. It's not just nostalgia, it's respect. Respect for a car that set the standard and continues to define what a true driver's car should be. So the next time you hear someone talk about the greatest cars of all time, remember the 1973 Porsche 911 Carrera RS 2.7 Touring isn't just another classic, it's the classic, a perfect balance of performance, design, and soul. Half a century later, it hasn't lost an ounce of its magic. If anything, its legend has only grown stronger. That's it for today's deep dive into one of the most important cars in Porsche's history. If you love rare classics, iconic sports cars, and the stories behind them, you know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment on what your dream spec of the RS would be, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more automotive legends. Because just like the RS 2.7, we're only getting started, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.